Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. Welcome to the daily quiz. This initiative has been designed to help you prepare for the upcoming prelims examination. In this session, we are going to discuss 5 multiple choice questions. And these questions will be based on topics that are picked from the Indian Express and the Press Information Bureau. We will also discuss one previous year's question and one fact of the day. So if you guys are benefiting from this initiative, do let us know in the comments. If you're liking the videos, press the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So let's begin with the first question for today. Consider the following statements. The Indian Forest and Wood Certification Scheme has been launched by the Ministry of Environment, Forests and Climate Change. It will help promote sustainable management of forests and agroforestry. UNFCCC, the Climate Change Convention, has made it mandatory for all countries to have such a scheme to tackle deforestation. How many of these given statements is or are correct? First, let's check these statements. Let's find out the answer and then we will discuss the article that has been picked from Indian Express and we'll also talk about this topic in slight detail. See, recently the Environment Ministry has introduced a certification scheme. It is designed to certify the forest products which are exported from India to foreign markets. From our forests, we get a lot of products such as wood, for example, which is used in furniture industry, handicraft industry, etc. It is important to certify the forest produce before it is exported because many countries expect the forest sources to be procured from sustainable methods. Many importing nations, they are very particular about the source of the forest produce. They want to ensure that the forest produce that they are procuring is not contributing to deforestation, and they also want to ensure that it is not enabling the illegal trade of forest products. For this purpose, there are certification schemes present around the world. So exporters who are exporting wood and forest produce, they need to get this certificate from third-party private certifiers. Only then their products can be exported to foreign markets. So India has been facing some challenges in this regard. The challenge is that right now Indian exporters, they largely relied upon private foreign certifying agencies. But recently there was a report according to which the integrity and the credibility of these foreign certification agencies has come under question. So this has adversely affected Indian exporters who are exporting Indian forest produce and wood products to other countries. So to make it simpler for Indian exporters and to promote the monetization of the forest products in a sustainable manner while enabling and incentivizing agroforestry and sustainable exploitation of forest resources, for this purpose, the government of India has introduced a certification scheme. So both the statements, the first two statements given here, they are absolutely correct. But however, the third statement is wrong. The Climate Change Convention doesn't place any such obligation on the countries to introduce such a certification scheme. Of course, there is a connection with the Climate Change Convention. We will discuss that. But it's not mandatory for all countries to have such a certification scheme. So third statement is incorrect. Statement 1 and 2 are right. So option B becomes the correct answer. Only 2 statements are correct. Now, let us look at this article. This article from Indian Express is very important for environment and ecology. According to the article, the center has launched the Indian Forest and Wood Certification Scheme. So as I was explaining, many importing nations, they are worried about the source of the forest products that they are procuring. They're worried that it could be coming from illegal trade, where forest products are illegally poached and trafficked. They're also concerned that the forest products are being sourced through unsustainable methods, which could contribute to deforestation. And as you know, deforestation is a major contributor to climate change and global warming. Protecting the forest is essential as part of the climate action goals to create more carbon sinks. So several developed nations, developed markets, they are very particular about the source of their forest produce. So India, which is a major exporter of forest products and wood, has to ensure that the commodities that we are exporting is certified. As I explained, the challenge is that we were relying on private foreign certifying agencies, but their method of certification had come under question. Their integrity had come under question. So this flawed certification method of foreign certifying agencies was affecting Indian exports to major markets. So that is why the Environment Ministry has come up with an indigenous solution. It has introduced the Indian Forest and Wood Certification Scheme. It mainly focuses on tackling deforestation and illicit trade, and it looks to enable sustainable exploitation of forest products and as well as to ensure that we promote agroforestry in the country, where forestry is encouraged as an agricultural practice for commercial exploitation. So to streamline this market, a local certification scheme has been introduced. Because big markets like Europe and US, these are the largest markets where we export our forest products. But of late, these developed countries, they are expecting the products to be certified by a neutral agency. The concern here is that after the Glasgow Climate Change Conference in 2021, these countries took a pledge. More than 100 countries adopted a pledge to halt and reverse deforestation by 2030. So since then, developed markets have become more conscious about the source of their forest products. So that is the reason why India has brought out this scheme to simplify the certification process and make it easier for Indian exporters to access the foreign markets. Because when we relied upon private foreign certifying agencies and when their integrity and credibility came under question, it created a roadblock for Indian exports towards Europe and US. So by keeping these concerns in mind, the Environment Ministry has come up with an indigenous certification scheme. It has identified 8 criterias and certain indicators and verifiers to certify that the wood and the forest products that we are exporting has been procured in a sustainable manner and it has no connections with illegal trade. This was part of the National Working Plan Code 2023, which was launched earlier this year. And based on this working plan, the certification scheme has been launched by the Environment Ministry. It is based on the Indian Forest Management Standard that was brought out this year. So this certification scheme, it will be overseen by the Indian Forest and Wood Certification Council, which will act as an advisory body. And this council comprises of various research institutions and concerned stakeholders, such as Indian Council of Forestry Research and Education, the Forest Survey of India, the Quality Council of India, Indian Institute of Forest Management, and other concerned ministries like Ministry of Agriculture, which deals with agroforestry, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry that deals with exports, the concerned state forest departments, and other industries and corporations. With regard to its operation, for operating the certification program, the Indian Institute of Forest Management at Bhopal will provide for operationalization of this certification scheme. The Quality Council of India, the National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, which is under the Quality Council of India, will audit and accredit these independent certification bodies, which will issue the certificate for wood and forest products which we export to other countries. So any forest produce, it could be food commodities coming from the forest, wood products coming from the forest, and even from outside forest areas. Before they have to be exported, they have to be certified that they are sourced sustainably without causing harm to the environment, without contributing to deforestation, and it also certifies that the produce is not an outcome of illegal trade and illegal poaching. So that is why this topic is so important for environment and ecology. Now let's move on to the second question. Consider the following statements. The National Geoscience Data Repository Portal has been recently launched by the Ministry of Earth Sciences. It has been developed as a collaborative effort between Geological Survey of India and Bhaskaracharya Institute of Space Applications and Geoinformatics, or BISAG-N. It represents a significant leap forward in democratizing critical geoscience data, empowering stakeholders across industries and academia with unprecedented access to invaluable resources. How many of these statements are incorrect? Please read the question carefully. It's asking you to identify the incorrect statements. So let's solve the question and then we'll take up the explanation. Out of the given statements, only the first statement is incorrect. The other two statements are correct. Because this portal has been launched by the Ministry of Mines, not by Ministry of Earth Sciences. Statement 2 and 3 are absolutely correct. So the right answer would be option A. Only one statement here is incorrect. So let's look at the context. On the website of PIB, there was a very important press release that referred to the launch of this portal by the Ministry of Mines. It's called the National Geoscience Data Repository Portal. This portal is meant to provide easy access to geospatial data and geospatial information for resource exploration and resource management in the country. Because across the country, various minerals are distributed. These resources can be mapped out by using satellite technology. The data that comes out is geospatial data. Only when this information is easily accessible to the industry, to the academia and other stakeholders, only then can we effectively explore and exploit the resources of the nation, the mineral resources of the nation. So for this purpose, a national data repository portal has been created by the Geological Survey of India in coordination with the Bhaskaracharya Institute of Space Applications and Geoinformatics. They have developed this portal and it has been launched by the Ministry of Mines as a part of its initiative to promote the exploration of mineral resources in the country. This is a landmark step because the GSI, which handles geoscientific research and mapping since 1851, has been leading these efforts to distribute geoscience information and geospatial data to the common public and to the private industry. BISAG-N as well, which is an autonomous body under the Ministry of Electronics and IT, has been specializing in geospatial technology. The satellite data generated through ISRO satellites is helping in resource management, and by using the data, a portal has been created for disseminating geoscience data and geospatial data. So this is seen as a revolutionary step. It will democratize access to geospatial information which can be used by the industry, by researchers, experts to map out the resource distribution in the country, and based on that, we can sustainably exploit the mineral resources of the nation. So that is why this topic is very important and hence this question was picked up. Now let's look at question number 3. The AHEAD consultation workshop recently organized in India dealt with establishing a global monitoring framework to tackle terror financing, regulation of risks arising out of misuse of AI technologies, fortifying India against intensifying heat waves through sustainable and affordable cooling solutions, creating an emergency fund for financing global pandemic mitigation strategies. So what does the AHEAD consultation workshop deal with? It has been recently organized in India. Of course, it does have some global implications. So let's see what is the right answer and then we will talk about this important topic. The right answer is option C. The AHEAD consultation workshop was organized by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which is under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. It had tied up with the World Bank. So these institutions organized the AHEAD consultation workshop. What does AHEAD stand for? It stands for elevating heat stress by enhancing production of affordable cooling devices. As you all know, global warming is contributing to more heat wave conditions. So as the temperatures rise, we will depend more on cooling solutions, be it air conditioners, be it refrigeration. The demand for cooling solutions will only increase with more extreme weather events, especially increasing heat wave conditions. We already have an excessive dependency on air conditioning and as well as on refrigeration. Not just at a household level, but also at an industrial level and at the level of the whole economy. In our houses, in our offices, we all rely on refrigerators, air conditioners for cooling solutions. Similarly, in the industry, right, with regard to cold storage, with regard to various industrial processes, cooling solutions are absolutely essential. It plays a critical role in the economy. The demand for cooling solutions is going to increase further due to global warming and increasing heat wave conditions. So that is why the Commerce Ministry has tied up with the World Bank along with Environment Ministry and Bureau of Energy Efficiency to create a domestic ecosystem to produce the next generation of cooling solutions in India. If India depends on foreign countries for cooling solutions in the coming years, this could become a disadvantage for a country like India. And also, this is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to focus on climate adaptation by investing in cleaner technologies. And we can create this domestically, indigenously. So with the help of World Bank, a consultation workshop was organized to bring the whole industry together along with the government stakeholders. So the DPIIT, the Environment Forest Ministry, Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and various industry players from the cooling industry, they've all participated in this workshop to discuss as to how we can combat heat waves, how we can provide sustainable, affordable, climate-friendly cooling solutions for the future. This could create a great opportunity for the Indian industry to become a hub for development and production of cooling solutions. We could export them to other countries as well. So this could be seen as part of climate adaptation efforts, and India is taking a lead in this initiative. Now moving on to the fourth question. Consider the following statements. The National Industrial Corridor Development Program has been conceived to promote world-class manufacturing facilities and develop futuristic industrial cities in India. 11 industrial corridors are being developed under the program. It is under the administrative control of DPIIT under the Commerce and Industry Ministry. How many of these statements are correct? All the three given statements are correct. So option C is the right answer. So let's evaluate this topic. Again, this topic has been picked from the PIB. Today, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry is in news. It has given out a number of press releases. So naturally, the PIB is covering all these important issues. This topic is in news because the Government of India has signed an agreement with the Asian Development Bank for securing a $250 million loan to fund the Industrial Corridor Development Project in India. India is pioneering a major infrastructure initiative focused on industrial and manufacturing development. This is called the National Industrial Corridor Development Program. Under this program, India is developing 11 industrial corridors across the country, and the focus is to create industrial clusters, smart cities with modern sophisticated infrastructure, and to interconnect these cities with modern infrastructure. Provide better highways, railway connectivity, freight corridors, so that the supply chain movement can happen more efficiently. The logistics can be improved in order to scale up India's exports. This will not only serve the domestic manufacturing industry, but it could also enable India to become an export hub and a manufacturing hub. So to take forward this key project, India has secured a $250 million loan from the Asian Development Bank just a few days ago. I'll show you a very important map. Please look at this map. It depicts the 11 industrial corridors that are part of the National Industrial Corridor Development Program. It includes important corridors such as the DMIC corridor, the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. It also includes the Bengaluru-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, Chennai-Bengaluru Industrial Corridor, etc. These corridors, they crisscross the country. They align with the modern highways and rail network and freight corridors that India is building. You would have heard about the Eastern and Western Dedicated Freight Corridor project, right, which is providing modern freight transportation facilities in India. The Golden Quadrilateral, which established modern road transportation by providing for advanced highway infrastructure. So these infrastructure projects will be linked with these industrial clusters and smart cities to create manufacturing bases, to turn India into an industrial manufacturing hub. And this key program is being implemented by the National Industrial Corridor Development and Implementation Trust. A dedicated trust has been set up for this purpose, and this ambitious program was launched in 2016. Initially, the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor was part of it. Now the plan has been expanded to include a total of 11 industrial corridors. The nodal ministry for the execution of this program is again the Commerce and Industry Ministry. It comes under the DPIIT. So these are the four important topics in today's The Indian Express and the PIB. Now let's take up a PYQ from the 2023 prelims paper. Consider the following organizations or bodies in India: the National Commission for Backward Classes, the NHRC, the Law Commission, the National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission. How many of the above are constitutional bodies? See, this topic is part of our syllabus. Constitutional bodies, statutory and non-statutory bodies, quasi-judicial bodies. These are very important for both prelims and mains. So UPSC can ask such a simple, straightforward question. Out of these four given options, only one of them is a constitutional body. The first one, the National Commission for Backward Classes. The right answer is option A. Let's look at the explanation. The National Commission for Backward Classes was established under the National Commission for Backward Classes Act of 1993. So initially it was just a statutory body. But recently it has been given constitutional status through the 102nd Constitution Amendment Act. So that is why this Commission for Backward Classes is a constitutional body. If you look at NHRC, that deals with human rights, it has been established under the Protection of Human Rights Act of 1993. So it's a statutory body. The National Consumer Disputes Redressal Commission is set up under the Consumer Protection Act, which makes it a statutory body, and it's also a quasi-judicial commission. The Law Commission of India is a non-statutory body which has been set up through a notification of the Government of India from the Ministry of Law and Justice. So amongst the given options, it's only the National Commission for Backward Classes which enjoys constitutional status. Now finally, let's take up the fact of the day. Today we had several important topics from economy in news, mainly related to India's manufacturing, India's industries, etc. We have one more topic from the PIB. The National Startup Advisory Council was in news. This advisory council has been reconstituted and the non-official members have been nominated by the Government of India. As the name itself suggests, the main task of this council is to advise the government to promote startups in India. So non-members who are nominated, they enjoy a 2-year term and they are drawn from the industry leaders, startup founders, successful venture capitalists. They are brought on board into this advisory council, which also includes few government representatives, to create the right strategy for building innovation in the country, for creating the right startup ecosystem in the country. Just look at the kind of people who have been brought on board as non-official members. They're all from major startups. We have Kunal Bal from Snapdeal, Sanjeev from InfoEdge or Naukri.com, Shraddha Sharma from Your Story, Nitin Kamath from Zerodha. So such prominent industry names have been brought into the advisory council, and that is the notification which was issued by the government. So you should know what is the National Startup Advisory Council. What does it deal with? It is constituted by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, and it was established in the year 2020. It is an extension of the Startup India initiative, which is one of the key programs launched by Prime Minister Modi. The primary task of this advisory council is to suggest measures to the government to nurture innovation and create the right culture for startups in India. Basically, to scale the startups, create employment opportunities, provide access to markets, especially global markets, so Indian startups can access easy investments, easy funds, or if required, they can raise credit or debt from the banking system. Provide incubation, provide mentoring and nurture the startups to create the culture of innovation and to make it easier for startups to operate in India. That is the primary role of this advisory council. So let's take a look at the composition of this advisory council. It is headed by the Minister for Commerce and Industry as the chairman of the council. Please make a note of this point, very important. The convener of the council will be the joint secretary to the DPIIT from the Commerce and Industry Ministry. There are few ex officio members who are basically senior officers from the Government of India above the rank of joint secretary from many concerned ministries, organizations and departments. From Finance Ministry and other related ministries, senior officials above the rank of joint secretary are added as ex officio members. So these are the government representatives on the advisory council. Then a whole set of non-official members are nominated by the government. These non-official members are industry experts. They could be startup founders who have been running successful startups in India, veterans in the industry who have scaled companies, then leaders in the world of investment and venture capitalists, those who have mentored startups and enabled them to scale their business and create employment opportunities. So such prominent individuals from the industry are brought on board. So it is a perfect mixture of government representatives along with industry representatives. So together, they provide advice to the government, to the Commerce Ministry on how startups can be scaled in India, how they can be protected from very hostile acquisitions from foreign investors and foreign companies, how they can easily access funds from the global markets, and whatever necessary mentoring, incubation is needed is extended through this Startup Advisory Council. So that is the important role of this body. So on this note, I would like to conclude my discussion for today. We have covered 5 very important topics along with a fact of the day. I really hope you guys have liked the discussion and benefited from the discussion. Kindly revise these topics because you can expect direct questions on these important issues. Do let me know how the session went in the comments. Press the like button and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That is it for today. Thanks for watching.